You are welcome back. So, the third problem is actually a quadratic equation and not an expression from the previous problems we've solved. So, this is an equation, and just like I mentioned in one of the videos, that we have different methods actually. So, for computing sake, we have quadratic formula, we have complexity square, and we have factorization. Um, I think probably we should use the three approaches. So let us do that. So the first one, the quadratic, let me just say the quadratic equation generally is what? Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So that is the equation. Now using the quadratic formula, you have x to be negative b. You have x to be negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared negative 4ac divided by 2a. And from the problem given, what is a? A is the coefficient of x squared, which is 1. B is the coefficient of x, which is negative 1. And c is the constant in the problem, which is negative 12. So what do we have? We have x equals negative 1, which is positive 1, plus or minus b squared, which is negative 1 squared, which is 1, negative 4a, then c, and divided by 2a, which is 2 times 1. Now what do we have? X is 1 plus or minus square root of what? 1 positive 48, which is square root of 49 divided by 2. And this is what? Plus or minus means 1 plus 7 divided by 2 and 1 minus 7 divided by 2. I have used the square root of 49 to be 7. And 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 divided by 2 is actually what? 4. And 1 minus 7 is negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So these are the two values of our x. So x is negative 3 and positive 4. Now that is quadratic equation. So factorization now. I think we've done this in one of the videos. So for factorization, you find a multiplied by c and you find b. Then you look for two numbers that when you multiply we give ac, and when you add we give b. Now what is our ac? Our AC is actually, we know A already, 1 multiplied by negative 12, which is negative 12. And our B is what? Negative 1. So we need two numbers. Let us cheat a little bit from the problem we previously solved. We have 4 and negative 3. But you know, two numbers that gives you 12, 6 and 2, 3 and 4, 12 and 1. But out of all these numbers, this combination, which one will give you negative 1? It's actually this. Because 6 and 2 can never give you negative 1. 12 and 1 can never give you negative 1. But 3 and 4, yeah, 3 minus 4 will give you negative 1. So that shows we have 3 and negative 4. So 3 minus 4 gives negative 1. 3 multiplied by negative 4 gives negative 12. So now whenever you have a problem like this, so you write your equation like this: x squared negative 4x positive 3x negative 12 equals 0. So negative 4x plus 3x is still negative x, so it's same thing. So you connect the first two and you connect the last two. So x is common, x negative 4. 3 is common to this, negative 4. So now x negative 4 is common to both sides, so you take x negative 4 outside. If you take x negative 4 from this first side, you're left with x. If you take x negative 4 from the second side, you're left with positive 3. Now if you have a product, right, if you have AB equals 0, and this implies A equals 0 or B equals 0. If you have a product that is equal to 0, at least one of those numbers has to be 0. So that's how we have x minus 4 equals 0 or x positive 3 equals 0. Now this says what? X equals 4 or x equals negative 3. So just like the first one we solved, right? Now the third one will be completing the square. Completing the square. Now, just like we did, so we said what? You will add Now, since this is an equation, so you will add the square of the half of coefficient of x to both sides. So that is x squared negative x. Remember, the coefficient is -1, so that is -1 squared, 1 over 2 actually. So the coefficient is -1 over 2 all squared. Then you have what? -12 equals 1 over 4. So you have to take the constant to the other side. So you have x squared -1 over 2. Remember I said you connect. So you take the constant to the other side. That is 1 over 4 positive 12. So now this, remember I said you will connect the squares together. That makes a perfect square. Then 1 divided by 4 positive 12. That is 4. And this is 1 plus 48. And that is x -1 over 2 all squared equals 49 divided by 2. I mean 4 divided by 4. So now what next? Now you need x, right? So that is x -1 over 2. You find the square root. But whenever you want to find square root, you have plus or minus square root of 49 divided by 2. I mean 4. Why do I keep writing 2? So that is plus or minus 7 divided by 2. So that shows x will be what? You add 1 over 2 to both sides. So that is 1 over 2 plus or minus 7 over 2. Now we are back to just like the first problem. So now this gives 4 and -3. So you can see that for all the methods used, we got the same answer. So, but the problem depends on the approach we're going to use. And some approaches, like each approach is useful for some set of problems in some other calculations or problems. So it is actually nice to know the three methods and you apply them where necessary. All right, so we'll move to the next problem in the next video.